Hello again. This is Don Lange bringing you another segment of Seasoned Citizens Present. Today I'm very happy and honored to have with me as my guest Claude Wester. I'm saying that purposely because I'm sure when I say Claude Wester, a number of you are going to scratch your head and thinking, now who is that? We all know him much more frequently as being Doc Wester. Welcome, Doc.
Yeah, and I'm glad to be here.
We're happy to have you with us. So kind of start out and find out a little bit about you here, if we may. Where were you born, Doc?
I was born in Jessup, Iowa.
You're in Iowa.
Yeah, between Waterloo and Independence,
Okay.
and on a farm.
Oh, you're a farm boy originally.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then as you came up through the school presences, where did you go to school further than the high school then? Where was your further education?
Well, I graduated from Jessup Consolidated, should I look at the camera? And Jessup High School in 1934,
Okay.
Loras College in 38.
Loras in Dubuque?
In Dubuque.
How about that?
And the State University of Iowa School of Pharmacy in 1941.
Okay.
So I was registered 50 years in 1991.
91. Yes, I remember the celebration was held down at the little brick building on Mississippi Drive there, where we had
Right.
a big 50-year celebration for Doc.
That was 50 years registered.
Yes.
And this February will be 50 years in business on 2nd Street.
How about that? Okay, now let's go back a little bit here. You went into pharmacy. Let's inquire how you happen to choose pharmacy as your profession in the future.
Well,
How'd that come about?
I was raised, and my dad, through illness, had to quit farming, and we were living on the edge of town, and the friendly druggist there gave me a job. My first job in a drugstore was peddling handbills.
Start.
And I could cover our little town of Jessup in about 3 nights, and these companies would pay my boss and me $5, and my boss thought that was too much for a kid in 6th grade to make in 3 nights. So he'd make me come down on Saturday, work all day Saturday, and then peddle and have the handbills peddled, and then he'd give me the check. He'd
That's what I got paid.
That's what I got paid, $5.
Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, now you're peddling papers, but in the pharmacy, but then you decide to go on in your own life and attend the schools and get into the pharmacy trade. That's what, is that what started more or less?
First, I was going to be a teacher. In fact, at Loras, I did my practice teaching in physics, and had a minor in chemistry and biology, and I liked it. And you couldn't get a job in those days in 38, and it didn't cost anything to go to school. You could make enough of the money in summertime to pay your tuition, which was only $50 a semester.
Unheard of in this day and age.
Yeah. And I always had a board and room job. And that was board and room was a big deal.
Oh, yes, it still is.
Now I guess, well, is it? Or tuition is a big deal now,
Well,
isn't
yeah, but they still have to live somewhere too. And
yeah.
they've got sorority houses and what have you too.
But I don't think they're expensive.
No.
See, oh Lordy, I forget what the. Well, when I was over at Drake College of Pharmacy, I paid $6. $1 a day for a room. $1 a day for a room. And then I worked at Stevens Lunch downtown near the register for an hour for a meal.
What the heck?
And
So
so
you maintained your old self though, through the whole
pretty
school
much,
system.
much, yeah.
We didn't have those fancy things they have nowadays where you get to go on tuition or
Rent,
rent.
loans, I mean.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, such things.
When I was over at Loras, I worked at an old folks home for my board and room, and that was a pretty easy job.
Yeah.
I had to get the old folks up in the morning and put them to bed at night, and then but I got a lot of study time on because I had to run the switchboard.
Yeah.
And and the good nuns, the patients didn't have very many telephone calls.
No, they weren't probably in the flow of the go then
Yeah.
those days, naturally. Okay, then you got through your education, okay, obviously. What was your first job then in pharmacy? Where did you work?
At this little drugstore down.
While you were in town?
Well, I worked there. Yeah, I worked on Mulberry when I was still in school, and then when I graduated, they gave me the best offer on the old Haverkamp store. Does anybody remember the old Haverkamp store?
Senior citizens, I'm sure all will. You
Yeah,
bet.
the senior. I worked there from June until October, and they closed the place, the Second Street store, down in January.
Yeah.
And then I went out to Independence and worked there 4 years, came back and worked again for Nitzel while I was getting my own store ready to open.
You were in the meantime preparing for your own profession then.
And they knew it, and,
Yeah.
and there was, and nobody was hiding anything
Sure.
from anybody. And Muscatine was quite a town then.
As I think I can say, you started your store on 2nd Street,
Right.
where it still is. We
Still
haven't
there.
moved one time, have we?
Not
Stayed
one
right
time.
where we are.
Right.
That's something different too in this day and age. A lot of times they move around a little bit,
Yeah.
but you were very stationary once you got settled in.
I don't like to move very well.
Okay, along in there somewhere, and I'm not sure of the dates because I know some because, as I said, you escorted one of my neighbor ladies back in the days. I don't know what dates, but then came along your tutoring a little bit with women,
Yes.
which came naturally. I mean, druggists do that too.
Yeah, yeah.
So you met the little Fuller girl.
Hmm.
I can say the name because it was a neighbor,
Yeah, Barbara.
Barbara Fuller, and I think you enticed her to become a Western.
Yeah.
Okay,
And we had 4 sons,
4 sons.
and they're still living.
All 4 sons are with you yet.
Mhm.
Okay.
And she died in 54.
Okay. Yes, Barb left us, I guess. I like I say, I can remember because I can remember meeting you at that time. This is
Yeah.
when not necessarily you're first in town, but
No.
you were dating Barbara, and as I say, they were a neighbor. Very nice family. Barbara was a
And-
lovely lady.
And your dad would try to get you 3 boys to mow the lawn.
Yeah, that was something in itself, believe me, to get that done. I can recall that very definitely, too. Okay, now, you had the 4 boys. Now, the 4 boys are all associated with you, aren't they?
No, no. No, the
These are
oldest,
grandsons with you.
no, the oldest boy is outdoor education director for Area 9. Number 2 son is a hospital pharmacist over at Princeton, Illinois.
Okay.
Number 3 son is the one, Jimmy, is
Jim's
down with
one with
me.
you. Okay.
And Tom is over at in the post office at Park Ridge, Illinois.
Oh, okay. So they're all around. The one
They're
is
all
with you.
around,
Jim is
yeah.
well, but there are 2 in the pharmacy yet.
Yeah,
I mean, in as far as profession is concerned,
Right.
you stayed with them.
right.
Okay. Now you have a young man that runs around and delivers different places. Who is that?
Well,
Is that a grandson?
One of my two of my grandsons
grandsons,
delivered,
okay, okay.
Jason and Troy,
Okay.
and then we've had a lot of different kids delivering.
Sure. Sure. Well, it's
And
handy.
we went through the Miller boys.
Through the Miller boys. And again, you have a good staff down there. We all have commented, different people were talking here a moment ago, just how courteous everyone is in your shop, including yourself. As,
We try.
Yes, you do quite well. I can vouch for that. I have needs, and it's just been fantastic how I've been taken care of. I mean, no problems. All the bookwork is done for me. As you advertise, I mean, if we have a need of any sort, come there, and you also handle all the insurance papers,
Yeah.
which is ideal. It takes away the worry and the thinking, am I doing right or wrong by doing this? Your help takes care, all your staff takes care of all that. That's just
Well,
terrific.
I've been lucky to get good people.
You sure have.
You know, so often you'll get duds, and
Yeah.
but I've
But
been
you don't know
quite
until you
lucky.
get them. But I think you screen them quite well, Doc. I
Well,
would
we
say in all
try,
fairness, I think you screen them
We
real
try.
well because obviously you're,
but
they all stand up, believe me, quite well.
there's sure a lot of changes. 50 years ago, Saturday night was the night.
Big night in Muscatine. The farmers came to town and did their
Everybody-
visit, and you bet.
there was people from one side of the street clear to the other.
Oh, yes.
Down in front of the dime stores, if you wanted to go by there, you had to walk out in the street. And the cars couldn't hardly run because, because there were so many
That
people
sure
standing
has
there.
changed, hasn't it? It's just
Boy.
nothing. Saturday's dead.
Yeah,
I mean, you're
yeah.
there. You're still open. I think you still carry long hours.
Well,
I
no,
think
and
still.
we close now at 5 o'clock
Well,
on
yeah,
Saturday.
on Saturday might as well.
But for years and
But
years,
you stay open
we-
Friday nights.
Yeah, but for years we stayed open until 9 o'clock on
Sure.
Saturday night.
Sure.
And many's the time on Saturday night, the last bus left downtown at 20 minutes to 12, and I missed the last
Imagine that.
bus. But in those days, you could take a cab for 15 cents.
15 cents wherever you wanted to go, yes.
And if I had a hard
Those are-
day, why, and I felt flush, a good hard day, and felt like spending 15 cents for a cab, I could take a cab.
Well, you didn't drive in those days. In other words, you didn't have a car.
No, I didn't.
You
huh?
didn't carry a car in those
No,
days. I
no.
see. Oh, I was at
And,
15
well,
cents.
and in fact, even people with cars use the bus.
Yeah, parking was a little bit tough downtown,
Down
particularly
and
Saturdays.
and it was cheaper to ride the bus. I think the bus was only a dime, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
And you
Midwest
could.
Coach, I think it was called. I believe, something like
And
that.
they had these old Diamond T trucks.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Gray, they were gray,
Yes,
and I think they were trimmed in red.
could be.
And but anyway, the city council, they wanted a subsidy of $20,000, and the city said, "Oh my, that's too much money." And now what is it?
Doesn't even pocket money anymore, is it?
Well, I
Seems
think
to be.
the subsidized bus system now is what? A
It's a
half,
city run.
three-quarters of a million or something like
It's a
that.
city-run organization, too. That was
Ye-
private then.
That was private,
It's a
and
private
they wanted a
organization.
subsidy
Yeah,
of
right.
20,000, and
Yeah.
that was, oh my gracious, that was terrible.
It got turned down quickly.
Real quickly, and now we're spending, I think it's three-quarters or
Something of that
$1
nature.
million a year to subsidize.
Blows
our-
your mind, doesn't it?
It does.
Thinking, I mean, back like we're talking there. Let's catch up now. Tell us some of the different factions you're in. I mean, the different clubs and what have you that you're in.
Well,
right
I'm
now.
not a club member. Of course, I belong to the American Pharmaceutical Association.
Well, yeah, like such.
The National Association of Retail Druggists, the Iowa Pharmacists Association.
Well, these items maybe not be club organizations. Yeah.
The KCs and the Moose and I don't know. I guess that's about it.
Well, that's good enough.
That's good
Well,
enough.
Well, sure.
Don't
I think
go
that
very
keeps
often,
Keeps you
but,
active. Well,
yeah.
no. No, you had to kind of back down a little bit. I also want to bring up, because I'm very, very pleased with it, and I'm sure a lot of people are, our yesterdays that you sponsor in the paper. That's great. It used to be the Journal carried that, but then they quit.
They can't afford it.
They let Doc pay for it now.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. I really do. I get a kick out of 175 and 50 and 25 years and 10.
We've had more compliments
I'll bet you
on
have.
that. And we've
I'll
had
bet you
people
have.
write that have moved away and write and thank me for
Bringing out
sponsoring
something, yes.
that. They seem to enjoy that old
Brings
time
up a lot of
stuff.
memories, Doc, I'll tell you.
They're doing a pretty good job in mentioning people. People like to see their name or their grandfather's name or
Whatever.
great grandfather's name, but
Even a friend.
yeah, or
That's
somebody
what I
that-
enjoy reading it, because many of them are friends or bring up fond memories of different people. It really does.
that for a while there was 50 arrests. Well, people didn't care about 50 arrests, but if you could say
Particularly.
Joe Blow was arrested,
Well, you have in engagements
yeah.
or marriages, because after you've had one on the paper, the next day there's an announcement, 50 years married, and you had just added in your R yesterday that
Yeah.
they were married at that particular time.
Yeah.
You didn't necessarily give the date, but it was 50 years ago as it's captioned off, you know, so it keeps right up to date that way.
That has been a good piece of advertising for us.
Yes. Now, is that derived by the Journal? They look this up, do
Yeah, they look it up.
They look it up,
Yeah.
actually, out of some of their
Yeah.
editions and what have you.
Yeah, yeah.
And then charge you to print it.
Yeah.
Like I said, they used to carry that. That used to be one of their
Well, they
Uh,
used to do a lot of
yeah.
things free. They used to publish
Marriages
weddings
and funerals,
and,
you
funerals
bet.
and all those things.
no
but
longer.
Now, I guess we don't even have a sports editor, do we?
I think there's a young man down there yet, Blake. No, that's not his name.
No.
I'll apologize ever because I can't remember his name. Yes, there's still a sports editor.
No, well, the guy
Not
that's
as
been there
strong.
for 100 years
Yeah.
is
Harold
gone.
Blake, but his
No,
longer
no,
there.
not Blake. Well, the guy that followed Blake.
Yeah, I think he's
and
still
his
there.
brother. No, he's gone.
Oh, is he gone now? Well, see, I've
His
lost
brother
track.
is sports editor at
That's a Democrat.
the Democrat.
Yes.
And what's
Fine.
his name?
We'll just have to let that pass and everybody try to think on their own. I'm sure everybody will come up with it.
Yeah.
But one I want to get around to, Doc, to you is, I was fascinated to find out the other day. I said to Doc, you getting ready? Well, yeah, I got to take a little trip. I said, you're going to take a trip? I mean, the guy's not 25 anymore. I think we all know that if he's been practicing 50 years. You know he's 50 years old at least because he didn't start day one. But here's this gentleman saying, I got to go to St. Louis. I said, you're going to drive? Yeah. Who's with you? Nobody. He gets in his little car, drives to St. Louis, and I said, you have any problem? He says, nope. What this means, I don't know, but he can explain it. Once I get to Union Station, no problem. Now, what's at Union Station? You know from there where to go?
Yeah, I've gone there a number of years, and Union Station is the school is held there. It's 9 hours, and it's a good course of credit, and they have good instructors, and they've had this a number of years, and I know my way down to Union
You've done it
Station.
before.
And oh yeah,
I
and
know that's the
there's-
first thing you said.
And there's a hotel there. I forget it's. And as naturally those places are, it's overpriced and overtaxed. But then
Today's age, yes.
yes, today's age.
Yes, yes.
I'm living in the past, but then
It's easy to do. Now, hey, talking about that, tell them what you're doing. This is another thing. This guy keeps current. I mean, he went down there to learn more about the industry that he's in. Can you believe that? At this day and age, he's still attending seminars on, he said one thing they're going to have wasn't of interest, but one thing was. So kind of tell us what you were doing there.
They had it's supposed to be a seminar on new medicine or new uses of medicine.
Okay.
I was, of course, that's interesting, and I read the same thing in the Conservative Chronicle, as one of our teachers said there. We're developing a resistant strain of bacteria because we've used antibiotics carelessly too much, and they've adapted to them, and we're getting a resistant strain now.
Oh, my.
And it's kind of scary. And
These are some things they bring up.
And right now they're worried about TB. I forget the thousands and thousands of cases, and so many of them are resistant to our current drugs. And and I've been interested in TB because that's why my dad had to quit farming, and he was one of the lucky ones. He got over it. But they didn't have any drugs.
Mm-hmm.
My mother made him eggnog every morning.
That's good.
He got 3 eggs and 2 glasses of milk, a little nutmeg and a little sugar.
Must have been some kind of a cure, huh? Without knowing.
Anyway, he got over it. But now we have 4 or 5 drugs that have been very successful in the treating of TB.
I see.
But now the new TB is resistant to those, and it's got people scared.
Well, I've noticed lately, looking in the newspapers, different articles saying that TB there's a new strain, I guess you'd call it, coming around that, like you say, is now resistant to the chemicals that had been successful before. So now you got to go through the whole process again. Discovering what to do now.
Try to find new ones or separate people, well, now of course when my dad had it, that was over 70 years ago.
Yeah.
There was no medicine, and what they did, they sent him to New Mexico for one winter, and he had to sleep outside for 2 or 3 summers.
It's a dry climate and what have you.
Yeah,
I suppose,
and then he had to work outside. Finally, he got in at Rath Packing Company and worked inside. But he was one of the lucky ones because they didn't cure too many of them. Remember Oakdale? You heard of Oakdale?
Oh, yes. Many of them sent there and never ever returned.
Most of them didn't.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
In fact, from our little town, there was 3 or 4 that never returned. but but our physician sent him down to New Mexico, hot and dry, and they got him a job taking care of the garden. He was outside all the time.
Yeah.
And
He
I guess
still
they
had something to do then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
well, that was they didn't pay him,
no.
just
Oh.
board and room, but
He had to he had to make his own arrangements to get there and everything too. I
yeah,
assume.
oh yeah,
I mean, that was up to him to get there. They told him what to do, but after
Yeah.
that, it was up to him to
Yeah.
follow through on it. One other question I guess I didn't ask, and I'd like to go back to it with family. How many was in your family? I mean, in your immediate family at home, back in your hometown?
I had two sisters. One of them died when she was 6 months,
Oh my!
and the other one is healthy as can be. She's 2 years younger than me, and she may take an aspirin once in a while if somebody forces her.
I see. That's just the three of you then.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I was kind of curious to have to think about that. If there's more in the family than yourself, what's this do then? Is she around the area here? Is she back
Well,
around?
she lives up in Jessup.
Oh, she's back in the old
yeah, her husband ran a feed store. Well, he bought eggs and milk, and he was a great entrepreneur, and they sold that business. And,
Okay.
And he's dead now,
Yeah, well, I
but
was curious.
she's healthy as a horse.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it really
Great,
is.
Yes.
Of course, my grandparents all lived to be 85 to 100.
Good longevity in that family. That's
Well,
beautiful.
I hope it
You're heading
continues.
there. You're heading there, Doc.
Yeah.
Going back to the druggist business, you keep hearing about how many prescription drugs are eventually going to hit the counter. In other words, they're going to
Yeah.
be on the counter rather than being prescriptions. Prozac, I think, was one. Was that one?
Well, I should hope not, but
You don't-
that's
Too dangerous.
Too dangerous,
Yeah.
and
I named that. I didn't mean that. There was one other.
No, you do. You did. You could have meant it.
Yeah.
Zantac and
Zantac is what
Tagamet
I'm thinking about.
and I think that'd probably be all right.
Yeah, I thought
The
Zantac
only,
is what I meant.
trouble is, my quarrel is, I don't think drugs should be advertised. I don't think booze should be advertised, and I don't think cigarettes should be
There you go.
advertised.
There you go. There are three items.
Now you take drugs, and I should be wanting them to advertise
Absolutely,
more.
it's your way of living.
But they have people taking laxative pills that don't need it. They
Yeah.
don't. They
Overprescribe.
and yeah.
Really?
And they
It
have
goes back to that part.
They have the best salesman in the world telling them, "Hey, you've got the sniffles. You need some cold tablets, and you don't need cold tablets. Cold tablets are no good."
You're hearing this from a druggist, you understand now.
Well, virus, they don't do a thing for the virus. Maybe aspirin will make you feel a little better, but
For the
as
time
far-
being, yeah.
Yeah.
You remember, too, I want to bring this up, too, in lieu of Western Drug. Obviously, you know, their pharmacy is well supplied with almost any needs you have. Also, I want to bring up the fact that if you have any other difficulties, they have all sorts of crutches, hospital beds, all available at Western Drug. So if you have those needs, too, Doc and Son can be of service to you at any time
And
for those items, too.
And I have a lady that's particularly good at that,
Okay.
at the durable medical equipment. She knows what Medicare will pay. She'll pay.
Oh, I know that. I've experienced that, you
She'll bill Medicare for you. Now, I don't even pretend to know.
You stay way away from that, though.
Yeah, I don't know
But you
anything
still are behind the counter.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You still fill prescriptions.
I worked 8 hours yesterday.
There you go. I know that you haven't given up in any means yet. You're still active in the
I love
business.
it.
I know you do. I know you
What
really
I miss
appreciate it.
probably more than anything is probably not the work, but the people.
Oh, sure. Well, you are. We were talking a while ago, and we'd name someone. I said, yeah, I know them. I mean, it was just the fact that he's been around here for enough years. He knows practically everyone that is of the heritage of Muscatine.
But of course, now I know more out of Greenwood than I do downtown.
Well, that's an unfortunate statement, but I guess.
And I
what
imagine
can you say?
you're getting.
I'm heading there now.
You're heading
I'm
there.
That
And
direction.
old Don over there will be.
Our cameraman, he's heading right along with us. Yeah.
In fact, I think he's older than I am.
I don't know. We won't even talk about it. See, he's just grinning. He isn't going to admit nothing. Anyhow, we're We're finding, I think our time is dwindling down shortly here, Doc, that we're going to have to kind of fall off a little bit here. And
Well, we can do that
there's
too.
part of the equipment right there.
Yeah,
You can get
yeah.
Western Drug.
I
carry
even
your
use
own
my
equipment
own
with you.
equipment.
Was that rented or did you buy that?
Well, I wouldn't. I rent it. I would.
There you go. Why buy, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, Doc. Well, it's been
No,
a pleasure.
no, I did buy it because I don't think Medicare will pay for it.
I sure appreciate you taking time out today and coming
I
and visiting
loved it.
with
I
us.
like to talk.
We had a good time. We found a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think the people will be well aware of different items that maybe they didn't know before. I don't know.
When will this be on?
We'll talk about that. I'm not sure myself. We'll find out.
Okay.
After it's over, they have a program schedule that they'll show us and have it all done. So, again, we thank you so much for being with us today. Sit still, Doc.
Oh.
We're not off air yet.
Oh.
We had a very good time talking, but we want to thank TCI for allowing us to utilize their studios and for the help we received from the TCI employment here, and for Don Ziegenhorn, who's been mentioned as our cameraman. So we thank you very much, and we wish you have a very good day, and we'll see you again. Goodbye now.
Goodbye.